Hi guys, yeah, I've had a little result. I've had a whiting, which I'm going to use for conger bait. Just caught him, nice little whiting. And also I had a pouting, which was yay big. I wasn't going to use him for conger bait. I didn't have time to turn the camera on because I was just checking my rods. And couldn't even see the bites because, as I said, it's windy tonight again, and it's coming from the northeast, yeah. And them lads, there's a bunch of lads. They've brought him out down. I've helped him out, putting the leader line on, setting them up, rigging that. Unfortunately for him, the rig that I sold him broke. So what I've done, I've just swapped it round for him. You know, my fault if it breaks. It's come from me. I'm going to give him a new one. I'm not going to argue with that. That's what happens. But anyway, doing really well at the moment. As I said, the tide will be turning in. It is now 8:15. Is it? Let's have a look. Oh, it's 7:15 by that. I don't know if that's the right time. But 8 o'clock, I think 8 o'clock the tide should be in. And as I said, you catch on the way in or on the way out. Very rare you catch on the slack tide. Yeah, I'm trying to. I've made one of my rods redundant. I've just put it to one side because earlier on I'd done a bird nest on one of them, and it took bloody ages to get out. No, it wasn't a bird nest. It wouldn't wind in. That's what it was. It wouldn't wind in. So the line that was out there, I had to handball in and quickly change the reel round, which I've got on now. And I thought while I'm there, I'll check the rest of my other reels. One of them was bird nested, which I sorted out. Took most of the line off and really, just put a new leader line on. There was that much line on, you wouldn't believe it. So now I'm just hoping that I don't get no bird nests. If I do, I'm just going to put the rod to one side, leave it, and sort it out when I get home. But yeah, as you can see my rods there, look. 1, 2, 3, look in a triangle. Yeah, and I'm quite happy. I just caught 2. It was on the treble hook system. I had lug on them. But what I've gone and done now is with that mackerel. Now I've caught that whiting for conger bait. That mackerel now will be used to tip off each time I put worm on. On the one of them, I'll put quite a bit of mackerel for a tip off bait, because what I've done, I put a ragworm on, then put a little bit of string on. That's an idea. It's on the wall, it's alright, I know where it is now. Safe. Yes, of course. It's looking good so far. But even if I have a real good night fishing, I'm still going to go home. I've got to make it up to my missus. But as you know, I'll come down on her birthday. well, the day before the birthday. Okay, I left her some presents and that. Some Jimmy Jams and a card. As you do. I nearly come down here without getting her a card if it wasn't for my bloody daughter. Oh, she said, Dad, we haven't got her a card yet. I went, oh God, gotta get one, else my life will be hell. Yeah, so it was pretty breezy earlier. But as the tides got closer, it's dropping off. That light is terrible. I'm going to have to get another lights out. As I said, I've had to turn it to tobacco. I love my cigarettes. There you go. Can't have everything we want all the time. I'm just going to put you on pause, guys, because the light's terrible. What do you mean I look better in the dark? You're right. Back again, I'll put a bit of light on the subject now. That one takes longer to charge. I've got me 2 little pretty lights. And hopefully put a bit of light on the subject. I don't think there'll be much content tonight, to be honest. One, there's not a lot of fish coming out. 2, I'm not too tired, because normally when I'm tired I just talk about shit. As I said, them guys earlier, they brought a mate down, he's gone and bought a new rod and reel. And I fixed him up with a leader line and a lead and a rig. And he's quite happy. As I said, that rig broke. And what it was is just a little black plastic thing broke on it. So he said, God knows how that happened, to be honest. But one of those things, probably might have been a faulty component. I didn't see it, but the only time you know is when you use it to cast out. I think I might have a bite. Just bear with me. Red eye. I look like a bloody demon then, didn't I? Yeah, just check me bait. I mean me rods. It's only the wind blowing them. It's funny sometimes when it's windy, your rods can be going from side to side and then all of a sudden it'll just go bang forward. Then you know you got a bite. A lot of people tilt them sideways. I've never done that, I don't know why I don't, but because I'm on the seawall, I don't do that. You have to see where the bar is there, you have to rest your rod on there, and if you get a decent bite, it may cut the line, you know, may get caught or cut the line. And then you got a fish swimming out there with a rig stuck in its freaking mouth. And you don't want that to happen. Well, I don't anyway. My favourite teapot. I put some water in it. I'm going to make a cuppa. I think I'll have a cup of coffee. Coffee, yeah. I'll be back in a bit, guys, hang on. Sorry about that, I just wanted to put my kettle on. Somebody said to me, when you go away, you're always drinking tea and coffee. I said, yes. You got to keep hydrated. And you got to eat food as well. I mean, like, after I finished fishing this morning, first thing I done, 4 rashers of bacon. And then I got 2 eggs, scrambled egg, in a pot, bang, done. Bacon and scrambled egg sandwich for breakfast, 2 of them. One greedy, honest. 4 slices of bread. And yeah. And later on, before I started fishing, I done myself a double cheese sandwich, no, single cheese sandwich. I had, as I said, my father-in-law pinched 4 slices at me, 8 slices, cheeky bleeder. So I had that before I started fishing, knowing that I'm leaving as soon as I finish fishing tonight. I think I'll be leaving about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Get on the road, get on the road, yeah, and then get home. Bloody hell, somebody just scared me then. I come the other side. Instead of coming up the footpath, they come round that way. Ooh. They give me a funny look, though. Oh, you bleeding scared me. Yeah, so of course, at the moment I've only caught 2, a whiting and a pouty. And as I said, I threw the pouting back because it was a good size. I would say it was a good half a pound. Easy. I wasn't going to use that as conch bait. I'm going to throw half a pound of fish out. No way. Nah, can't be doing that. As I said, if I'm going to use a conger bait, I go for small fish, as you say, small ones, like that whiting. But then you're going to say to yourself, well, if you put a flapper on, like a mackerel, and you take its tail out, you still got a hectic fish, but I use joeys for that. They're easier to cast out. Not a bleeding half a pound bleeding fish. I know it's only 8 ounces, but there you go. Bloody hell, that electric bike scared me then. I could hear the and I seen lights at the side of me. I thought the aliens had landed. Yeah, so guys, it's been an eventful weekend as far as what I've been doing. Well, I think it has anyway. It's been an eventful weekend for me. Sweetness. You know what I forgot to bring to him this weekend? Our ginger biscuits. Is that a boy? See, with the wind, and tide, and of course seaweed. Once a seaweed hits your line, your rod starts doing that, and of course you think it's a bite. No, not many fish do that. They just go bang, quick. And as I said, I've got 4 hooks out there with worm on, and they've all been tipped off with mackerel. I put that first conger bait out, which is a whiting Kevin gave me this morning, and hopefully, see, one day I am going to come down here and I am going to catch a conger, just to say I've caught a target fish. I mean, I always target conger anyway. If they come along, they come along. If they don't, they don't. Somebody else could catch a conger further down. I mean, like last night, sorry, this morning, there was a bloke who was on the beach on his own, and Kevin said to me, look down there with binoculars. So I looked down, there was a bloke bringing a conger in. From what I could see through the binoculars, it was about 3 foot. Would have been 4, you know. I don't know, but good size. Good, say about 8 pounds. Could have been 10. Well, you don't know how big they are until you're standing right next to the person. But looking for binoculars, you know, it could have been like that size for all I know. I have caught here river eels going back to the Sargasso Sea. And the reason why you can tell they're river eels because they call them silver eels. And when they're going back to the Sargasso Sea, as I said, you may have heard me explain this before, the eyes enlarge, they go bigger, and the snout changes on them as well. I don't know why that is, but metamorphosis, whatever it's called. It's the eyeball. Yeah, so tonight, this is going to be probably, I might put some back on, I might probably next time I go sea fishing, I'm going to try somewhere else. Probably Dunster Beach. I've never really fished Dunster Beach, so I don't know what the fish is like. Or I could go down to Linton and Lynmouth. Now I know when you park at the car park in Linton and Lynmouth, it's an outcrop of rocks on the one side, where the Vernacular Railway side is, and they've got the car park. And the other side, I don't know if you can park, and that's like gravel beach, no, shingle beach, not like, yeah, well, I forget what it's called now, not like Chesil Beach, not them type of shingles, but they're a bit smaller, like little gravel bits. Excuse me a second, I'm just going to make the thing. Getting too hot for this. Sleeping in the car. One day you might see me camper van. Just gonna clear off for a second. Come back again. Back in the room. Yeah, I've just made my coffee and turned the gas off. I didn't want to be ignorant and keep showing you me back all the bleeding time. yeah, cheers guys, this is well deserved. Every time it's gorgeous. Yeah, I'll keep checking my rods now. As I said, it's coming up to high tide now. You can tell by the sound of the waves. It's funny how you can tell the sound of the waves hitting the wall. And it's you get used to listening to the way the waves hit the wall on the way in, and then it goes calm for a while. Then you can tell the waves when they start going out the pull off the tide. Found out that this tide is the most second fastest tide turn in the world, and it races out. I've been saying 6 knots. I was talking to a bloke who does surveying on the Bristol Channel. I asked him, I said, how fast does the tide turn? You know, what speed does it go at? He said it races through at 7 knots. I don't know how fast that is. And he said it races through at 7. To me, I don't know how fast 7 is. If they said miles per hour, I'd probably understand, but knots, nah. But yeah, because as soon as it hits the wall, it stays for a while. Well, as I worked out yesterday, it stays for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then when it goes out, when it's a high tide, it goes out further. And then it stays out there for about, believe it or not, I think it stops out there for an hour at low tide. And then it turns again. So quick. But when it's a very, very calm day and it's a high tide, it looks like it's forever coming in. But when you got a bit of breeze behind you and a bit of waves, it seems faster. Just, it's the same speed, but you know, just because it makes that whoosh sound. And yeah, of course, as I said, it might be a couple more weeks or a month or so that I do any sea fishing. It might be just doing lake fishing. And the first time, because the season's closed now on the rivers, so all the lakes now are going to be making money. You're making money and overfished because of closed season. And my lights are swinging about on top of my car. I may have a bite, guys. I'm going to leave you on for a minute. My rod is banging over now. So just stay here. I'll check. Didn't change the bait because it hadn't been bleeding touched. I just re-hooked it up and just casted it out. I've caught a 2 fish, so I'm happy. But I've done that more than once. It was an old tip somebody showed me once. I only had a bit of bait. And I had scrag ends and mackerel. Honest, it was diabolical. I mean, the fishing was amazing that day. I mean, it was dogfish after dogfish after dogfish. So they got on your, to be honest, they got on your nerves. But that's sport, because that's what fishing is, sport. And as I said, I had 4 rods out, and I had I had 2 with a 3 hook system, and I had 1 with a running lead, and I had a single pennel rig, single hook. So all in all, I had 5 hooks in the water, and you couldn't put your rod down. It was like cast, turn around, the next rod's going, or you'd be reeling one rod in, and bang, the other rod would go. So you'd have to be reeling in, see that one rod go, lean across, strike it, get this one in quick, and then leave that to the one side after you unhook the fish. And then the one that was you've just used to strike while you were reeling the other one in, you started reeling that one in, and, you know. And it was one night, it was one afternoon, I was doing that, and on my 3 hook system, I had 4 fish. Worked that out. I'll tell you what happened. I had on the top one, I had a whiting. On the bottom one, on the middle one, I had a pouting. And on the bottom one, I had a pouting and a whiting on the same hook. It can happen. And I thought, shit you not. I thought, how did that happen? And then, I've only done before. And there's many a fisherman out there, sea fishermen, who have been using like a double pennel rig. And you've had a dogfish on the bottom hook, and you've had a dogfish on the top hook. So you've hooked 2 fish at the same time on the same rig. It can happen. I remember the once I was, I had a bite. I was here. I had a bite, and it was only a little knock. And I thought, I'll leave it. And all of a sudden it just went bang down. So I struck and I hit it. As I hit it, brought it in, I had a conger on. But on my hook, inside the conger's mouth, there was a whiting on the hook. So the whiting was first, and then the conger decided to make a grab for the whiting, because the hook had gone all the way through the gill of the whiting. And then the conger decided to grab the whiting, and then, you know, whiting in panic mode, I was being caught shaking around, conger's come along and hit it. So that was 2 fish in one, but the conger here was only a strap, about 5 or 6 pounds. But that can happen as well. A lot of things can happen while you're sea fishing. You can catch crabs, not physically catch crabs, I mean catch crabs on your line. Well, the day I caught that bass, coming back now years, I had a scrag end, and I mean a scrag end of a mackerel tail, and I casted the mackerel tail out there and I left it. I just let it soak. I wasn't bothered because the tide was going out. Then all of a sudden my rod went flying over, I hit it, caught a sea bass. But when I dispatched it, and I was gutting it for somebody, because I'll give it to somebody to have for the barbecue the following day. As I was gutting him, I broke his stomach out, you know, his stomach. see what's inside his stomach, contents, and there was 3 crabs that were still alive. And then, as I cleaned his stomach out a little bit more, the stomach area, the tail of the mackerel, all you could see was the tail of the mackerel, the bone on the mackerel, and the little bits of bones coming off the mackerel. And what it was, what I think happened, was the 3 crabs were munching on the tail, yeah, and the bass come along and that took all 3 of them at the same time. I thought, the greedy bleeder. But as I said, the mouth on the 14 bass was like that. That was the gape. No lie. His mouth was like that. He's going to take 3 crabs about that size. And there were little peeler crabs. Yeah, 3 little peeler crabs. And I just, as I said, just discarded them into the waste bin. And I still regret that day killing that fish. It haunts me, believe it or not. It does haunt me, because knowing how long it takes to grow that size. I was watching someone on YouTube about how long certain fish live for. And a shark can live up to 30 to 40 years. A whale can live for a long time. I think it was 50 to 80 years, as long as it's not hunted and killed. And there was quite a few interesting things on it. And I wish I kept it now, because, well, I couldn't read it off to you, could I? Because I can't read. But you know, I could have gone back to it and said, this animal, I could have put it on a noteboard and gone, this shark, blah, blah, blah. This shark and this shark. All types of different fish on there. Well, I know a tuna only lives for 10 to 15 years. That's if they're in court. And you get put in a tuna can. Yeah, so on the Cut You Loose, guys, it is now 10 to 8. The tide shall be at its peak at 8 o'clock. And we'll see what happens after it turns tide and starts airbend. Catch you later, guys. I'm not putting you on pause, I am cutting you off. See you later. Bye.